Right, hello. So, in this video we're going to be looking at 2026 and more specifically where I think your club will be this time next year in 2026. We're looking around the sort of the 10th of March kind of time, so let's go. So as I'm filming this, Arsenal currently sit second in the Premier League. This time next year I think they would have lost a couple of players, maybe no main players, but I think Tomiyasu, I think Partey would have left. I still think Arteta will be there, the fans might be a bit more against him, and I think they'll be sort of sitting third place in the table, which isn't an awful season, but from my perspective, Arsenal should be pushing on. I think they've got a fantastic squad, they've got money, they've got a good manager, there's no reason why they shouldn't be pushing on and going in for that title yet again. Okay, so up next we have Aston Villa, who are currently sitting 10th in the Premier League, but oh my god, have they looked like a different beast since January, bringing in Asensio, Rashford, Disasi, Fran Garcia. So I really do believe that Aston Villa have the powers to, just push on essentially. I think if they can make Asensio permanent, Rashford permanent, I think them two really do change Villa's fortunes. And this time next year, I think they'll be sitting in 5th, which should be a Premier League spot based on the new Champions League format, which will no longer be new this time next year. Well, Bournemouth are having one hell of a season, aren't they? Currently sitting in 7th, but only 5 points off 3rd. It is incredible how well they are doing. They've got a squad full of real talented players, and to be completely honest with you, they're going to get eaten up in the summer. I think the manager Iriola will leave. I think Milos Kerkez, Dean Hodgson will leave. I honestly think this season will be so hard to replicate for Bournemouth just because they're going to lose so many of their star players. So my prediction for them will be 12th in the Prem next season. But they will be in Europe, and I do believe that they will push on in Europe. I would imagine they'll be in the Europa League next year. I think they'll definitely get through the knockouts, but probably be knocked out sort of quarterfinals. Okay, Brentford. Having an okay season this year, 11th, it's not too bad. I think Thomas Frank will still be there, but it really wouldn't surprise me if players like Mbermo and Aaron Hickey were snapped up on good deals, because Brentford are a good selling club as well. So I think that they will just about stay up in the Premier League, so I think Thomas Frank's a very good manager, but I think they'll be 16th. Maybe not pushed on as much as I would have expected. Brighton up next, currently sit 8th in the Premier League. And to be honest, I don't see Brighton changing much next season. I think they'll stick with the manager. I think the squad of players will near enough be the same. And I think they'll have a very similar season. I think they'll be 8th again this time next year. Chelsea currently sit 5th in the Premier League table. And to be honest, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of transfer activity at the Bridge this season, because they've already done all their transfers. You've got William Esteval, Kendry Payers all coming in the summer. Andrew Santos returning from loan. I think they'll be looking at signing a goalie, maybe a striker. And I still don't think they're going to be title contenders. I think the start of the season was almost an anomaly, because I don't think they were able to replicate that, not this quickly. So I'm going to go with an upgrade, but not a major one. I think they'll be 4th. I think they'll get Champions League football, maybe this year, definitely next year if not. Crystal Palace currently sit 12th in the Premier League, but oh my god, is that an understatement for how good they actually are. They've literally they've won 9, lost 9 and drawn 9. They are an almost simultaneous team. But every season's very similar for Palace until Oliver Glasner came in and things look different. They may not be finishing drastically high in the table, but they actually look like a scary team. And with the right signings, the right money spent, the right improvements made, I think they could be a real threat. So next season I'm going to go with 11th. But I don't even know if I believe myself for that one, because they are scary. Okay, up next is Everton, who sits 16th in the Premier League right now. David Moyes has really turned it around there though, hasn't he? I mean, what an incredible appointment he's been. Love Sean Dyche to bits, but David Moyes has got Everton looking almost unplayable. I still think this is just a honeymoon phase though. I think they'll go back to still be better than they were, but still inconsistent. I think next season they'll probably finish 13th. They'll be safe, but not 100% safe. They could be dragged in. They also could finish higher. Fulham, very decent squad. To be honest, this season they're doing well. They're sitting in 9th, and I think they've got good enough players that could actually be dragged away by top sides. I look at Emil Smith-Rowe, I look at Calvin Bassey, I look at even Alex Iwobi, Anthony Robinson. Tete's contract's at the end of the season. Marco Silva's doing a fantastic job there. There's no reason why there's not players in this squad that could be taken away from them, whether they want that to happen or not. It really wouldn't surprise me. I think next season Fulham will be safe, but they'll be 14th. It'll be a downgrade. Okay, right, this one might actually be quite debatable. I think Ipswich will stay up in the Premier League this season. I really do. And that's where I think it comes an issue. I think they will stay up. They will overspend on players that aren't actually good enough. I think they'll be sitting 20th at the end of next season. For the first time on this channel, we dip into the Championship, and that's where I think Leicester are going to be next season. They're having a bad year in the Prem, let's be honest. Same points as Ipswich, but look at their squad, look at their fans, look at their stadium, look at the money they have. Leicester should not be sitting 19th. It's poor management that they've had over their club for the last few years. To be honest, I think next season they won't even be top of the Championship, which is really disappointing, especially for Leicester fans. But to be honest, I still predict they could come up. They'll be third in the Championship, quite close to second, and probably win the playoffs. Do we ask the question that whether this Liverpool team are one of the best we've ever seen? Well, they might not be at the end of next season, as they could lose Salah, Trent, Van Dijk, all on free transfers. I doubt they'll lose all three, but it could leave a gap in their squad. However, I think this squad are incredible, and I think the way that Liverpool do their transfer business is next to none. So I predict that this time next year they'll still be first in the Premier League, however not with such a clear gap. No one predicted this at the start of the season. City currently sitting in 4th place. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy that they aren't first, which is so weird. But yeah, I think this year's an anomaly for Man City. They're 4th on 47 points, 20 points off Liverpool, top of the league. However, I think City will turn it around next season. The new signings like Kusanov and stuff will start fitting in better. They'll be much higher up. I think they'll be second in the league. Who else is enjoying this Man United downfall? Because I can tell you now, I certainly am. It's great seeing Man United this low. And to be honest, I don't think there'll be a whole lot of improvement next year. They currently sit 14th in the table. Next year, I think they'll reach top half. I think they'll break into the top half, but that's still a bad season for Man United. I think Man United will be sort of 10th by this time next year and maybe finish like 9th. It's quite hard to predict with Newcastle. I mean, they currently sit 6th, but they're so inconsistent. Like, they go on like an 8-match winning run, but then drop points like 3 games in a row to lower Premier League teams. Newcastle are a really good team on their day. They have some really good players. If they lose Isaac, I think it'll be a different story, but my prediction is that they'll be 6th next year. Let's just take a moment to appreciate Nottingham Forest, 3rd in the Premier League table, 48 points. Above Man City and Chelsea. Insane. Nottingham Forest have been incredible this year, but let's be honest, they're not going to keep it up next year. They might get Champions League football, but they're going to get knocked out straight away. I mean, look, their squad is going to get eaten up. Matt Sells, what a player. Chris Wood will stay because he's so old. Like, he's such a conventional striker. He doesn't get into many top teams as much as I think he's a great player. He doesn't suit many Premier League teams. However, they're going to lose so many players. I think Nottingham Forest, Murillo, Ola Aina, but I do think they'll stay up still. Obviously, I'm going to go. You're looking 14th, 15th. Back to the Championship now as we look at Southampton, who 100% are getting relegated. They are possibly the worst team. They're the worst team in my lifetime, the worst team I've ever seen play. They are fucking shit. I cannot believe they are even still in the Premier League. I can't believe they even got promoted. Looking at the squad they have, they are useless. There's not one player in that team that gets into most Premier League teams. I mean, Tyler Dibbling, maybe. He's 19, let's be honest. He's not actually going to play week in, week out for many Premier League teams. I cannot believe how poor they are. They're not even getting automatic promotion like Leicester. I think they'll edge the playoffs, maybe 6th in the Championship, but they are horrific. Spurs up next, who currently sit 13th in the Premier League. I don't even know if they deserve to be 13th. They've been poor. They've been piss poor, Tottenham Hotspur, and I love it. I love to see Tottenham doing this bad, but Tottenham fans will be in absolute disgust. I mean, you got to have some sympathy with the injury crisis, but it's still not good enough. It's just quite simply is not good enough. Next season, I think they'll be 10th. Improvement, but still not good enough. I think Postecoglou will be gone by December next year. Now, this is a slightly bolder prediction. West Ham, not having the greatest of seasons. They're currently sitting 15th in the Premier League. Just brought in Graham Potter. Well, I think if they stick with Graham Potter, this time next year, they will have a drastic improvement. They'll be 7th in the league. I said it when he was at Chelsea. If they gave him some time, there could be improvements. Unfortunately, fortunately, they were quite shit under him. But if Chelsea had given him time, I think they would be improved and could even be further ahead than where they are now of Enzo Maresca. So, yeah, I'm going to go West Ham, 7th. We're ending bold here. Wolves. Just about, I think, going to get relegated this season. I think Mateus Cunha getting suspended was outrageous. It quite simply was just outrageous, and I think that will be the reason they go down. They won't pick up points. Ipswich might take over. They'll pick up the extra point there. Yes, okay, there's 5 points in between them now, but that's only 2 games. That's 2 wins that Ipswich need, and Wolves need to lose 2. That's so possible. And to be quite honest, I do think Wolves are going down. However, they will come straight back up. I think Wolves will finish first in the Championship next season. And that's it from me for this one. I hope you all enjoyed the video. That was all 20 Premier League teams, where they'll be this time in a year. I thank you all for watching. I'd like you to like and subscribe. I'd appreciate that a lot. Thank you all very much. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.